Hello and welcome everyone to ITC500. I wanted to say a few opening words as we get started in this course. I know you may be thinking, oh man, a research course, that's a lot of writing, that's doing outlines, that's looking up articles in the library, I'm putting this paper together. That does not sound like much fun. But I'd like for you to step back for a minute and think about research in a different way. In essence, you're doing some detective work. Now, in the internet, in the information age in which we live, information is everywhere. But making sense of it and being able to determine what is valid information, what is actually the truth, that is far more difficult. What if your boss says we need to make an important decision about whether to take a strategic choice A or B, or implement technology A or technology B? Go do some research on this. Well, if you're going to do this, you have to, and you're making a decision about a policy or direction, a strategy, a technology, you need to be able to collect information and data that's valid and make decisions about this. And so to do that, you have to be very organized and structured in how you do this, or else and also you're going to need to know what the right sources are, or else you're going to pull together a lot of information that's not necessarily valid. So being able to do research that produces valid knowledge and valid information, that is an important skill. Now, some of you, I'm sure, ask if we have to use a lot of sources in a paper, and we cite these sources, where's room for our own ideas? That is a good point, and I would tell you to think of this entire approach like a lawyer might think of it. For example, a lawyer in a court of law does not really express his own internal opinion, and the jury doesn't care about the lawyer's personal opinion. What the jury wants to hear is the story that the lawyer tells through the use of the evidence, the smoking gun, bank account data, witness accounts, hair, DNA, etc. There's all of these sources of evidence that a lawyer presents in order to make a case about the lawyer's and his defendant's version of the truth. Well, that's similar to what you're doing in research. You are making a case for something, and you're doing it by collecting evidence. What is the evidence? In academic research, the evidence is found in empirical studies in the academic literature. That means studies that have collected data sometime before, and it's been considered valid enough data collection and analysis process to be published in an academic journal. You can use that as evidence to make your case. So where do your ideas come in? Although you draw upon the ideas of others, you synthesize those ideas in a particular way, and that's how your version or your case or your view of the world comes out. So this is a few introductory comments about how to think about research. We will get into more details later of things such as how you should go about choosing a topic. What is a good topic and what is a not very good topic? For example, an example of a bad topic would be, I want to study happiness. Well, that's so vague. How would you measure it? Remember, if you're going to collect data, conduct tests, have a hypothesis to test, or observe or describe a phenomena, it has to be specific enough so you can measure it and study it in a structured way. Something like happiness is too vague. You have to define it down and narrow the scope. And that's probably the number one difficulty most have, is selecting a research topic that's sufficiently narrow. As we get started, though, let me leave you with this. Because there's so many electronic sources available for developing papers, it is so tempting to take all of those sources, stitch them together, and then write over them so you won't get hung up in a high Turnitin match score and be seen to plagiarize. I call that search, cut, paste, overwrite. I would encourage you to avoid that approach, because no matter how good you do it, you are going to end up in a high plagiarism score or Turnitin match. I would suggest you take the approach that I call read, think, write, cite. When you have a problem, a topic, an issue that you're studying, collect academic journal articles on that particular topic. Read them, think about them, and once you've read them and thought about them, then start writing. Maybe you'll outline first, but in general, write. And as you write, and you will synthesize your view of the world based upon what you have read. Then after you've done that, go back and put in citations that show the source of the ideas that you're using in your paper. Remember, citations are primarily to show the source of your ideas, not to show direct quotes. Use direct quotes sparingly. What you should do is put your own version of what ideas you have encountered in other academic literature. That's the purpose of citations. So read the literature that's out there. Think about that literature, and as you do so, synthesize your view of the world based upon what you have found in the academic literature. And then after you read and think, you write, and then once you've written, go back and cite the source of the ideas that you've included in your paper. So this is some initial advice. I just want to paint a broad picture as we get started. There'll be more to come as we proceed through the course. In any case, I look forward to working with you, and I'll see you in discussion threads.